Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff St. Laurent, and yes, I have a special guest today, and I'm going to bring her on in a second. But first, I do record all of my live shows, and I put them in my university at sellingcoaching.com. I help coaches transition to a full-time business, and this is one of them. And we're going to talk about all she's done in just a minute, but I have a lot of great resources at sellingcoaching.com. You could start right off on the homepage. And that's a great way. If you enter your name and email, that's going to give you my audio resource, which is launching your coaching business, the first 3 vital steps. And I also have a fantastic 14-day GoPro challenge. And that actually starts today. If you're watching this live, we're starting another one today. But whether you're watching this live or the recording, you can learn more about that and register for the next one at GoProChallenge.com. Now, I have a very special introduction because this is not just one of my mentor coaching clients. I dubbed her, and she's told me many times, but I've dubbed her quite possibly my biggest fan. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely true.
So welcome, Lise Lavigne. I'm so great. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I love being with you. I watch your show all the time because I'm a faithful fan, and excited to be here.
So we were talking beforehand because I've been working with Lise on and off for over 4 years.
Yeah.
And like we were talking beforehand, I'm like, how long's it been? And she's like, yeah, I think it's been like 4 years, And so you came across me from a Facebook ad.
Yes.
Years ago. And so I want to have people hear the evolution of what you've done, because your big thing is you're great at building a tribe, and people call it different things, audience, a community, but you've got a great tribe of women that you've built over the last 4 years. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But when you came to me, like you saw my Facebook ad, talk a little bit about like kind of where you were and what happened that made you eventually say like, I gotta work with this guy, just so people can get an idea of kind of where you were at in your business.
All right. Well, when I was trying to find some help, I didn't know exactly how to word everything. I didn't even know I knew I wanted to help women because I wanted to help women that were in the same kind of situation that I was, like in my past. And but I didn't know how to word things. I needed to pinpoint my niche, right? And so I was on Facebook, like I do every freaking day. And then I saw an ad, and I saw I was selling coaching. And then I started to, watch what you're doing, and I thought you were just so frigging amazing. Then I went on your university, and I said to myself, this guy can teach me some things, right? And then it just so happened that you connected with me on Messenger. I remember that. And I said, oh my gosh, he loves me and he doesn't even know me. And then we had a one-on-one conversation. And right away in that one conversation I had with you, is that you cleared things up for me, for my niche. And it was just amazing, amazing.
So really starting off like you were just at the beginning stages of your business, and really wasn't quite sure of where you were with your niche. And so we said, all right, we'll start from there. And then obviously you worked with me, you hired me, we worked one-on-one together.
Yeah.
And so it was just over 4 years ago, you started a meetup group.
I did. Yeah.
And so talk about kind of like that and like, you started it. What was the thought process behind it? What were you hoping to get from it? And we'll talk about the evolution over the last 4 years, because I think it's cool for coaches to be able to hear, what's happened after 4 years. So, but talk about that. We started it.
Well, like I knew other people were doing meetup groups, and I had joined some meetup groups. I had joined a meetup group for authors because I am an author. And I wanted to have my own group because I thought it would be so amazing that people would come and then I would be able to teach them. And I started my own group. But it was working with you that I figured out how to grow that group, because you taught me exactly what to do to connect with these people. And that's one thing I've done like consistently is to just give value to my group of women. And that's how I get some clients. It's amazing.
Yeah. Talk about like the theme of the group, like what's the group called and like what are you helping women with? Because I know you talked about that niche and how you refined it. But I think that's a big piece because it's where you've come from, like you said in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's really powerful what you're doing with these women.
Yeah, well, see, like a lot of women have been through one bad relationship after the next. My group is called Helping Women Attract Healthy Relationships. It's kind of long, but I don't know how to shorten it, but it seems to be working. And that's what I do. I teach them how to not attract those kinds of individuals. And I teach them how to have confidence and set boundaries and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
And women just love it.
They really do. I think they love you because you're so real. Like when she gets going, like Lisa's just like, she's funny because she just says it like it is, which is important.
Yeah.
So the evolution of the group, talk about how it's evolved over the last 4 years. Like, well, how about this? As of like now,
Yeah.
talk about the numbers in the group. Like how many members are we up to?
I'm up to, I think I'm up to 985 women. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're closing in on 1,000, which is
Yeah.
huge, right?
Very close.
So if you think about it, over 4 years, like about 250 people a year or so, and I try and break it down for some people because sometimes we'll look at like a group and be like, oh, there's 1,000 people, there's whatever number of people there, and but a lot of people don't realize like it's an evolution and it's just like a small bit of time. If we broke up 250 people a year, by month, you know what I mean, and then by day you probably find out it might be one or two people or a couple people a day. You know what I mean? And that might be all it is, but it's steady growth over time. So what have you done consistently over the last 4 years, month in, month out, that has allowed you to not only get business from it, but grown this tribe?
I've just been concentrating on growing my meetup group and giving events at least once a month. Now we can do them online, right? I I do miss the in-person interaction, that's for sure. But Meetup allows us to do it online all the time now. So I still do that always. And when I have a new member, as you taught me, is that when I have a new member, I welcome them and then I ask them, something like, what do you expect to get from this group? You know, what is your
Some
intention
questions
for
there.
joining this group? You taught us how to do that. And I do that. And then they tell me their story. And then it builds a real good connection. And often they hire me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with the events though, so you've been doing, would you say on average, like maybe 2 events a month?
Um, I
Because you started
traveled.
off doing two, right?
I started doing two, and then I got into a funk last year, as so many people have,
Yeah.
2020, And so I was still doing them though. Once a month, I do them
That's
at
fun.
least once a month. But my
Yeah.
goal is to do them like every 2 weeks because I just love doing it.
Yeah. So really, if you think about it like that, you had the first 3 years easily like twice a month,
Yeah.
right? So, and then the last year, like once a month, right? So you've
Yeah.
done quite a few events. And
Yeah.
on top of that, like you said, you're an author,
Yeah.
not just of one book, but of how many books?
I have four, I guess. Yeah, four.
4, yeah. And
Yeah,
I actually thought it was 3, but that's why I'm like, maybe it's 3 or more. But
four.
so talk about like the process of authoring 4 books, not just like, doing it, but more the impact of like what it's done for your business. Cause I know you've done a lot of speaking engagements
Mm-hmm.
outside of your meetup group as well. Like
Absolutely.
every time I talk to Lise, she's like, oh, I'm doing another group for, a speech for this women's group or all these types of organizations.
Yeah.
And that's another really great way that you've grown your tribe is by being in front of it, doing all these speaking engagements. But talk about maybe how the books helped you do that.
Yeah. My books, especially my very first one, Enough is Enough. I go really deep into my own story, and yeah, it's like, I don't know what it is, but when you're an author, people think that you are somebody. And like, I'm just me. Like, I just wrote my story, right? In all these
Right.
books. And I'm not nobody special, but people seem to think that, oh my gosh, you wrote a book. And it gives you leverage. It gives you the clout. I think I'm French, so sometimes, the English doesn't, it gives you clout. Is that the real word, Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
It gives you clout to get interviews. The last 5 different interviews, I was asked. I did not even, you know, ask them. They came to me and wanted me to be in their conferences. You know,
Nice.
it's just amazing. It's like,
So you had the authority. So by putting
mhm,
it out there and people knowing you're an author,
yeah,
like people were starting to reach out to you saying, "Hey, Lise,
yeah,
based on who you are, what you've done, what your topic is, we think you'd be a good addition to this event."
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really great. So I think it's been a combination, right, of the consistency of doing
Mhm.
events for the meetup group, but then also being an author, writing the books, doing the work, and then speaking there, which is I think it's all contributed to you building a strong tribe that you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the
It's
other
quite a
piece,
ride.
go ahead, say again.
I was just saying it's been quite a ride for the past 4 years, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the other piece that I've seen that really helped you evolve because now you have the women, like you have the people.
Mhm.
So you're getting business and whenever you've done the work to get the business, you've gotten business
Yeah.
because you've nurtured this audience. But also in the beginning, and I can't remember how long, a year or so, as
Mhm.
we started to work and develop, your process of taking someone from an event, a meetup event or whatever you're doing to actually a client, like you didn't have anything for that.
No.
And that's been a huge evolution because even in the last, when we did the 5-month program, the GoProElite, group together, I think that's where I really start to see like the past work that we had done and then obviously the stuff that you've done on your own, how you evolved it into a really strong process. Even your branding. Can you talk about that a little bit just so people understand, like even just talk about your process of what you do from inquiry to sale and the names that you call everything, because I feel like that's a big piece for everyone to start to understand.
Yeah, like at the beginning, right? I had my books, I had my meetup group, and then I had my coaching program, which was like $3,000, right? And it's like, when I was working with you, right, you said, okay, well, at least you need something in between. You can't like give things for free and then get on the phone and say, okay, here's my program. And working with you through the, I don't remember what it's called, GoPro thing.
It doesn't matter. The GoPro Elite, yeah, the 5-month program, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've helped me with that, right? And so now, yeah, I offer my meetup group. It's free. People join. And then I offer a free assessment, right? And that pinpoint, it's called relationship readiness assessment. And we go through 12 steps. And 12, what I call are 12 integral parts that you need to master in order to have and attract healthy relationships. And then, and then I offer them my challenge because you taught me how to do a Facebook challenge just like what you have. And that was so great because you offer something that is not like $3,000. You offer them a little taste of what you offer, right? And a lot of people, they don't trust you enough to spend like thousands of dollars with you. So they spend like 49, right? And then my $49 Facebook group is called, Facebook challenge is called Healthy Relationships. What's it called? I'm so bad with names. Anyway, healthy relationships challenge, I think it's called. And yeah, so they go through that. And I've gotten one-on-one clients just doing that because they get to know me, right? They get to work with me and they get results. And then they want to go even deeper, right? And then they hire me at 3,000 or 3,500. Just
Thanks.
it's an amazing process that you have taught me. And I would not have been able to do this without you. That is for sure.
Thanks, Lise. And but I think the great part about it is that you now understand the process you can take these women through, because like you said, they've got to warm up to you, they've got to start to trust you, and they got to start to get to know you. And I think that's what a lot of coaches, we have to understand is, whatever we charge, even if it's $1,000 or $5,000, no matter what it is, we've got to take them through a process where they start to understand the value. And it goes back to what you said earlier, is it's delivering value on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done through your events, through your books, everything. Right?
Yeah.
Is deliver value.
And especially with my target market, right? I mean, they've been used and abused, and they have a hard time trusting people. So it's like you taught me over and over again, right? You have to build the trust. And that's what I do with all the things that you've taught me, all the things that I offer. And I build trust, and then, they go further with me because they know that they can trust me with their lives, literally.
It's really it, right?
Yeah.
And just by you showing up every week, that consistency, it shows them that you're going to be there, and you're always going to be there for them. And I think that's another piece, even though your niche in women and healthy relationships, but for anyone watching this, whoever their audience is when you show up week in after week out, month after month for years, that's how you build a strong tribe, because they're loyal and you're loyal to them.
Yeah. It's like you always say to me, right? Consistency is the key, Lise. Consistency.
That's right.
But Jeffrey, every time I lose track of the consistency part. I don't get results. But it's when I'm consistent, that's when I get results. And I don't know how many times you drill that into my head, right?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, if I do what you tell me to do, it works. Of course, I have to do what you tell me to do.
Yes, exactly. Someone watching this, they're starting off or in the beginning stages, and things are slow. They want to build that tribe. They want to build that community. Having now been doing it for 4 years and still going, kind of what's your best advice for them, to give them the proper mindset so that they can stay in the game long enough to get to like a place where you are, as an example?
Yeah. Start small, go out there. Well, take the freaking Facebook challenge that you're offering, right? No, because I remember, right? I was in a slump. Like, when was the first time I did your Facebook challenge?
My GoPro challenge, I think that was it might have been last May.
Okay. I was a little down back in May, whatever, I can't remember when. But and then you offered the Facebook challenge, and it was like $49 or something.
Yeah.
And I took it because I thought, okay, it will get me out of the slump, right? And I got a client just like doing that.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And like I was at my wit's end, like I was overwhelmed with life and with work and everything. And I did the challenge, and it's like it gave me a boost all over again. And then it got me clients, and that's when, I finished that challenge, and then I signed up for your the what's it called?
The GoProElite, yeah.
5-month thing.
You've done so many different programs with me over the last 4 years. I wouldn't remember them all either. So
I know.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's what I see in you is the fact that you've shown up and you've done things. And while there are some things you haven't done consistently, the one thing you have done consistently is you've shown up for your group.
I have.
And that's the most important piece.
Yeah.
So
you have to show up.
Awesome. So Lise, can you let people know like the name of your website so they can check out like all the cool things that you've done, and maybe even check out the meetup group as well, or maybe your books?
Sure. Well, yeah, they can just go on liselavigne.com, just my name.com. And you want, can sign up for my free assessment, my free healthy readiness, relationship readiness assessment. And yeah, I have my own Amazon author page. Just Google Lise Lavigne author and you'll find me there.
Nice. And what I'll do is I'll actually put that in the comments. And if you want to actually go back when we're done and, paste that stuff into the comments as well.
Okay.
This way people can check that out. This way there's a live link. I used to show on the screen stuff like that, but then the live links works better because people can just click in it when they watch it. So
true.
But Lise, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for trusting me all these years. And I know our work's not done because at some point in the future, I'm sure we're going to work together at some point again, right?
Yeah.
But no, I just appreciate you, especially coming on here and sharing your wisdom because, this business, it's not a hard business, but when you've got to be consistent and disciplined over the years amongst everything else that goes on in our lives, as you know, that's what can make it challenging. And to have to show up and be the face of the business and the message when we're going through shit, when we're having a hard time, that makes it even more challenging. So I just appreciate you and everything you've done and your willingness to show up. Whether you did the work or not, you would always show up.
True.
And you'd be honest with me. And that's what I always respected the most from you.